Mickey is very excited to help out Small Pete.
Why would he be?
It's the best thing that's happened to him in 70 years since that one time he accidentally destroyed a cartoon senior's home. You're never living that down, Mickey. I'm sorry.
No.
Seriously, though, it's Pete. He's going to betray us at some point.
He's going to betray us at every point.
Wow, 2 dialogues in a row where the text box was just too short. And a third! You're on a streak!
Interesting symbol on that door. Some kind of, like, octopus lady?
You know, that might actually be Ursula for The Little Mermaid. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past this game. And, of course, we're in the Asia Boatwright area, so, of course, the Spatters have very politically correct and sensitive costumes for this area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, very, sensitive.
I'm so glad they don't have dialogue.
Now, there were some people who complained about the lack of voice acting, aside from, like, the intro cutscene and the ending are the only ones that have proper voice acting, with Corey Burton playing Ensid. Let's just say that the second game rectified that problem to the point where it is completely saturated with all voice acting. That's one of the reasons why I won't Let's Play Epic Mickey 2. Despite the fact that I actually kind of like that game. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. But nobody shuts up.
Oh, I guess that problem isn't relegated to our modern age, then. Actually, when was Epic Mickey Power of 2 released?
That was 2012.
Okay, so that wasn't too long ago.
I'm trying to think, was that tail end of the Wii life cycle, or was it a Wii U game? What?
Epic Mickey 2 was the lead platform was for the Wii, and then it went multi-platform. Which this game was exclusive to the Wii, for contrast.
That guy, like, we just left behind, he wasn't doing too well.
He'll be fine.
Like, he was kind of glitching a little.
Nah, it's just something that happens when you're a blot. It's a weird hereditary disorder.
So is there a reason why we're destroying all these dolls?
They have delicious tickets.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess there's really no other reason. It's a collectathon, you smash things. Excuse me, they're charging us money in order to save the world.
I mean, the gremlins still have to eat. Just because they can teleport anywhere they want doesn't mean, you know, they still have to have something resembling food, presumably.
What, do they eat the tickets?
Yeah, you know what? Let's go with that. That actually makes sense.
Yeah.
I did do a fair amount of research trying to pin down all the references, but there's just so many callbacks to various elements of animation history and the theme parks. I'm sure someone is cataloging them. I remember seeing a bunch of threads back in 2010 of people dissecting each and every texture, trying to pin it down to specific references and other moments.
So what are we doing here? We're trying to stop the steam valves?
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's a part that's on a timer.
Thankfully, the timer resets every time we spin one of the valves.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
There is one really awful timed puzzle right towards the end of the game. If you've played the game before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that most of that has to do with the camera, to be honest. It would be a much better time if you could actually see where you're going. But I distinctly remember, I can't find the webcomic anymore, but There was an early comic that made fun of the camera issues in Epic Mickey, and the punchline was that the cameraman was goofy. Just could not pay attention.
Yeah. Is this a webcomic, or...?
I think it might have been Awkward Zombie. I don't remember exactly. But I have a distinct memory of it in my mind. Maybe I've just played tricks with me and I thought of the joke myself but didn't realize it. Also, speaking of webcomics from the late 2000s, there's at least one reference to a comic that was popular at the time in this game. But we won't be seeing that for a couple videos yet.
A comic that was popular in the late 2000s.
A gaming webcomic specifically.
Oh no.
It's pretty unintrusive though. It's more like just a cute little tee-hee reference.
So this is pretty dark. You're telling me it's not so dark that it has an entire level that reproduces Lost?
No, thankfully there is no Control-Alt-Delete land in Epic Mickey.
But yeah, you see what I'm talking about with the door there?
Yeah.
We may or may not be seeing a Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff level. Unfortunately, that was DLC. Yeah, I see that. I see that now as well. I'm thinking, I'm sure there's some. It is some kind of reference to the theme parks, given that most of the art style in general is pretty faithful to how It's a Small World is designed.
So we're also going to be going to culturally sensitive Middle East land.
Thankfully, no. Thankfully, there's no Middle East land. It's just Asia and Europe. If you're very quick, you can actually jump over to the other switch before it falls. But that's a speedrunning strategy, and I was trying desperately not to use my old shortcuts in order to give this LP a bit of pace.
Oh, we're heading to a classic.
Oh.
Yeah, most of the 2D levels have 2 levels per cartoon. There are some exceptions to that, but Steamboat Willie is a 2-parter.
This is my favorite Kingdom Hearts level.
Yeah, that was Timeless River, right?
That was the one.
Hey, look, there's Pete. So, Steamboat Willie was not the first Mickey Mouse cartoon. It wasn't even the first cartoon with synchronized sound, but it was the first cartoon that had voice acting. Whereas previous synchronized sound cartoons were just, again, synchronizing music. But this was the first to add sound effects and voice acting. And perhaps more importantly, it was also by far the most popular cartoon to have synchronized sound in its day.
Uh-huh.
So take that, Fleischer Brothers. What has Popeye done for you recently? Betty Boop? More like Betty Poop.
These sections do remind me of the Genesis game, the old Mickey Mania.
I remember that one, yeah.
There was also a 3DS spinoff that leads a bit more into the 2D levels. I think that's also inspired by Mickey Mania and Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse.
That was the other one. Couldn't remember the name of it.
Ah, man, all those licensed games on the NES and the SNES. Those were really...
Licensed games, yes.
Yeah, some of them were good, some of them were very not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of fun playing Aladdin. That was pretty good.
Probably the high water mark. At least in that generation.
there's actually a soft lock here. I remember I discovered that several years ago, where you can see that there's a valve in the middle that you have to press to complete this, and if you swing the Wii remote to hit the valve at the same time as you paint in the last portion of the pipe, the game soft locks. You have to reset.
Oh wow! Like you can't even like maybe like thinner the pipe and then paint it again.
Well, no, because that cutscene triggers at the same time, and you can't even pause. You just have to unplug the console.
Oh, it just locks right up.
Dang. I mean, I guess, like, Deus Ex, it had a number of bugs in it as well, so just keep it on brand, really.
Unfortunately, we will not be stacking EMP grenades and using them to clip through doors.
Or could we?
Well, like I said, this is Deus Ex for kids, and a number of elements of the playstyle matters philosophy have been streamlined, but I still think that when it comes to this game's target audience, it does a pretty good job of letting kids make important choices that don't cause too many things to change, but just enough for kids to feel like they've done something important.
So right now what we're doing here is we're painting houses back into existence?
Yes.
Interesting.
And there's a pin for going into Gus's house.
I mean, I guess, like, if it wasn't for us, he wouldn't have a house to begin with, so I guess that's fair.
Well, the bad news is that Gus is very behind on his mortgage payments. We're going to have to go around and grind some more e-tickets to help him out with that. And our main objective here is just to... We can't actually skip the portion of, like, fixing the clock tower in the village, etc. But also, you remember that Small Pete mentioned that that his captain's ship log... Or sorry, his ship's captain's log. Yes, but what Bennett is saying. That's his ship. So,
How did he manage to get his ship up a waterfall?
The same way that one U-boat from Uncharted came from upriver, I'm assuming. I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Well, no, looks like you got caught by the plane and you kind of, like, swung into the lake as you were talking.
Well, on the plus side, Mickey gets to sue King Oswald for a ton of money for suffering a horrible accident in his park, in the wasteland.
Are the planes a reference to a particular Disney ride?
Yeah, I think it's more of an homage to the Aladdin Flying Carpets ride. And these are in-universe knockoffs. I feel like I have to clarify that. For some reason yet unknown to us, Oswald specifically recreated rides from the famous Disney theme parks. Wonder why that is.
That's pretty impressive considering... wasn't Oswald, like, out of circulation by the time the parks were being made?
We will talk about that later in the next video or the video after that.
Also, I just noticed that these guys flap by, like, moving their feet really fast.
Yeah.
There's another dialogue!
I did not realize that this particular dialogue could trigger. I didn't know about it. If you feel like being an asshole, you can either just ignore the ship's log, or there's another gremlin who will buy the log off of you. for, I think it's like a 75, 100 e-ticket, something like that.
Now, what would they want with the captain's log? Unless it's got something embarrassing in it.
Well, I mean, Pete has been a bully to these gremlins for a long time, as some of the dialogue is established. And
Yeah.
I guess that I guess they want to make him feel miserable. And
Yeah, you know, that's kind of Pete's thing. Small Pete or otherwise, he's always going to be the bully.
but Small Pete is definitely on the lower tier of the bullies. There's a Pete's convention, and he's always the one that comes last. He has to sit in the back.
I wonder actually, why is he Small Pete? Like, is it in comparison to other Petes, or... He didn't seem that small.
I don't know. Anyway, this is based on Clock Cleaners, which was an animated short from 1937. It was released just a few months before Snow White, for context.
Ah, Clock Cleaners was robbed.
Anyway, it's the getting the film reel for this is actually a little bit tricky.
Yeah, we have to kill a chicken.
And I think most of these levels kind of hit on the important plot points from the original short films. Clock Leaders is actually one of the shorts I have not seen, so I couldn't tell you what is in reference to which part.
And this game really does require you to do a lot of homework in order to figure out what really anything is going on.
Well, I mean, I half agree. I think that most of the references and other things can still be easily enjoyed out of context. Like, I mean, it helps to appreciate the history, to know the history, but it's not a requirement to follow along with some of this. And the game does explain some of the more important parts, like what Oswald is, what his whole deal is.
Oh, hey, it's a massive clock tower. I think this could be American McGee's Alice.
And of course, there's a big clock tower at the entrance to It's a Small World, at least the Disneyland version. And this is definitely one situation where we want to fill in the pump with paint, because it unlocks access to the first gold e-ticket.
Woohoo!
We're rich!
And now I know how to synchronize your audio.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I was already up there. It's not that impressive. I stole 100 e-tickets from your from the tower, though. I hope that wasn't anybody's money.
Maybe it was Small Pete's. Like it was putting it aside for... I don't know.
Fixing
Thankfully, the
boat.
Gremlin Village changed their currency from e-tickets to the Fast Pass several years ago. So this money is actually worthless here.
Now, I remember, like, when I was working at Six Flags, they actually did start to introduce their own equivalent of the Fast Pass.
I'm not surprised.
They had these little, like, buzzer thingies that people would have to, like, show to attendants, and they would get them, like, past the lines.
Well, in Ontario, Canada, we didn't have any Six Flags, but we did have Ontario Place in Canada's Wonderland. And I have some memories of that from when I was younger. Also, this is a secret back entrance. We already unlocked the front entrance, but there's a gremlin up here.
And another world to platform through. wait, that's just clock cleaners again.
It is Clock Leaders Part 2. These levels are actually, these 2D levels are actually really fun to speedrun through once you get the timing right. And eventually you will have to really get a good feeling for going through these for reasons that we'll get up to once the actual main world opens up. Because for now, we're still in the linear intro.
Oh, wait, we're still, like, in the tutorial?
Yep. It's very much a God of War tutorial where, you know, it's like 1 or 2 hours of a linear set piece culminating in an epic boss fight.
Wow.
I hope that pun wasn't intentional.
I make a lot of terrible puns, but no, that one was not intentional.
Yeah, seems like clock cleaners. Just, again.
I'd say that most of the 2D levels are pretty good. This one, I could take it or leave it. This is the back entrance to the European boat ride area, but I'm trying to be as comprehensive as I can, so we will see the front entrance as well. There are a number of rewards and other items in this game that are mutually exclusive. I think it takes 3 full playthroughs to get true 100% for this game. Because, again, because of a number of rewards, could only be gotten through one path or another.
Well, thanks to the morality system, maybe you could do multiple playthroughs.
I've decided against it just because I want to leave some of this game unspoiled in case people want to play it. I'm totally not doing it as an excuse to not play more of this game, and, you know, the Wii Remote motion controls are tough enough on my hands as it is. I'm managing with just the one playthrough. This is also a pretty neat trick that you can do with the thinner pools. When you hit a thinner pool and take damage, it resets your double jump. So you can basically, essentially fly across thinner pools and skip large sections of levels.
Mm-hmm. Now I remember, I forget which Mario game this was, but they actually understood that people would try to do that with it. Yeah, with it, like the lava pools, and so, like when Mario gets sent flying, he also has this period where he's just like running around uncontrollably with his pants on fire.
Mario 64.
I mean, that specific running around with his pants on fire animation, I think that was from Galaxy, but certainly the idea was in 64 and Sunshine.
Oh, I guess that was just kind of like something that happens series-wide.
Well, I mean, lava works the same way in all the 3D Marios, but the minutia of the mechanic changes from game to game. And I am pretty sure that there's also a representation of the Eiffel Tower in the It's a Small World ride. Or at the very least, if it isn't there anymore, it was there at some point.
How about the Leaning Tower of Pisa? That's also in this level.
I think that was there as well. Also, you may notice that some sections of the floor are much brighter than others. They are made of tune, and if you really wanted to be a dick, while the enemies are on that part of the floor, you can thin out the floor and they die instantly.
Or
the sweeper can do it for you,
Yeah.
Not the dip!
Exactly.
Wow, like, you know, your buddies don't mess around.
The friendly AI can be a little inconsistent sometimes, and that's actually one of the possibly unintentional dangers of doing a paint path. is that you don't want to get smacked around by your new friends.
Nah, I think that was intentional, actually. Like a guy that throws thinner fighting you on an arena where there's a whole bunch of, like, painted floors. Nah, I think that they wanted that happen.
I mean, it certainly fits with this game's use of more work rewarded morality system. However, Mickey's feeling a bit lazy here. I don't know. We got to cross that bridge. Maybe we could just bring the entire tower down.
Oh man, you destroyed a national landmark. For a bridge.
This marks the second game I can think of where the Eiffel Tower is destroyed. The second one being Modern Warfare 3.
I think that pretty much every time Paris gets attacked, the Eiffel Tower gets destroyed. They must have a large like industry devoted to just rebuilding it over and over.
It truly is the Tokyo Tower of France.
Yeah, destroying it is how you know you're destroying France and not just Toronto, because that's in every movie.
Well, Toronto pretends to be every city but Toronto, is the thing. I do not remember seeing any action set piece where the CN Tower falls over and explodes. Though I would kind of like to see that. Preferably if it fell on top of the Sky Dome, or the Rogers Center as it's called now. There, free idea for anyone wanting to set a disaster movie in Toronto. Have the CN Tower crush the Sky Dome.
That'd be pretty interesting. Like have Canadian versions of all kinds of different films. Like I don't know, like the Canadian Terminator.
Make a Dead Rising movie inside the West Edmonton Mall.
No.
Now, thankfully, because we found his ship's log, we're not going to have to deal with him, and he'll let us go. Now, if we had either sold the captain's log, or if we had just ignored it entirely, there would be a big fight in this arena, which is one of the biggest fights in the game.
So wait, you managed to like have less content in your LP?
I know, it's shameful. And going back for a second take isn't that easy because this game has a very, very strict autosave system, and it does not let you copy save files unless you're willing to fiddle around with SD cards, which I'm not.
Well, I mean, you know, they want to like make sure that you stick with the morality system. Every choice matters and all that.
It is very annoying, though. There's a reason why in the Epic Mickey speedrunning Discord, there's a list of practice save files they have to download and keep reinstalling in case people want to practice specific levels in the game.
Ooh, Inky Mickey looks mad.
Yeah, that bit of concept art comes from an older version of the game where instead of using the paintbrush, instead Mickey would attack with bits of his own ink.
Ah.
I'm sure I think there's some prototype footage of that over in the internet somewhere.
You're telling me this could have been Wes Craven Dark instead of Tim Burton Dark?
Yeah, this is more early Tim Burton Dark.
I mean, there are Mickey shorts where he does lose all his color and he has to actually get it back. Like, I think that at one point, like, there's this, like, modern cartoon where he gets so scared that, yeah, all his color runs off of him. Literally.
It's kind of telling that Warren Spector has said that he is a big fan of the 1989 short Runaway Brain. Which, for those who don't know, just look it up. It is one of the most horrifying of the Mickey Mouse shorts.
I'm guessing it involves his brain running away.
Yeah, I think it was also a return for the Mad Doctor. Like, I know that the Mad Doctor was the villain in one of the SNES Mickey Mouse games. Anyway, hi Pete. And now it's time for the boss. Eventually, just gonna admire. I like how he moves like an old animatronic from one of the old theme parks.
I mean, yeah, like these side-scrolling missions definitely have kind of a like you're running through a museum. Ugh.
there's a very famous clock tower at the entrance of It's a Small World, and this is a corruption of that clock tower. There are 2 different methods for defeating him. We're going to be destroying his arms with thinner.
Oh, man. Why did they do this to me? I'm going to have nightmares tonight.
Oh, you have no idea how much worse it's going to get.
Oh. This is the boss fight from the end of Metal Gear Rising.
Pretty much. Also, if you notice, the thinner shooting out of his arms looks distressingly like arterial bleeding.
Sure does.
Yeah, this is disturbing.
The other path, which I will show in probably a separate section of this video, involves befriending the clock tower instead of destroying him. Although part of the reason why I'm doing it this way is because this is actually the canonical choice. According to Epic Mickey 2, at one point you go through dioramas that are basically like interactive versions of the boss fights in this game, and one of those dioramas is specifically the destruction of the clock tower as opposed to befriending him.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of with the game there.
So yeah, this is the canon choice.
Wonderful.
This will be a recurring theme where every boss fight has at least 2 different ways of defeating them. Which I think is really cool for a kid's game.
Mm-hmm. And making a boss's head fall off is, it's also wonderful for a kid's game.
Sure, I mean, E10 plus.
And this is the main way that the game tracks your morality, is how you deal with bosses. It will slightly change the tone of the ending, as well as give you an increase in your capacity in either paint or thinner.
And the capacity increase, I assume, is based on...
Yeah, it's based on how you defeat
it.
the boss. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you deserved it. While I'm bringing up the clock tower here, there is actually, according to the Epic Mickey graphic novel adaptation, the reason why the clock tower has gone insane is because it spent the last 50 years having to listen to It's a Small World on repeat.
Yes!
That would do it. That would
God.
absolutely do it.
Oh, I'm so glad that's the reason.
Well, join us next time where we will actually open up. The tutorial section is over. And next time we will see the hub world and get into a few side quests with more big choices and mutually exclusive rewards. So look forward to that.
Woo.
Yay!
As promised, here's the paint version of the Clock Tower boss fight. I'm doing this one in Dolphin, otherwise I would have to replay the entire game just to show it off. And as much as I like this game, I don't want to do that. The biggest change here is how you deal with the clock tower's arms. Instead of destroying them, you use paint to turn them friendly. You also have to juggle between painting each arm separately, since as soon as one arm goes friendly, there's a limited time to paint in the other arm, or the first arm will reset and you have to do it all over again. You also get a unique pin for befriending the clock tower, which, aside from a glitch used by speedrunners, you can only get on a separate playthrough if you go for the thinner route.